So most of us do not learn anything about money or investing in our school or college. So when we start earning, we want to invest and we end up taking the advice of our parents or copying what they did with their investments. But before taking your parents' advice on what to do about your investments, you need to ask yourself 3 questions. Firstly, did your parents retire wealthy investing as they did? Secondly, are your goals in life the same as your parents? Thirdly, did your parents meet all their life goals investing? If the answer to all these questions is no, then you need to be careful about taking your parents' advice on money matters. In this episode of Question of Money, I am going to talk about 4 pieces of investing advice on which you shouldn't follow your parents. So if you would have noticed, most of our parents actually stayed in the same city throughout their lives. They also worked at the same job for 10 years or more. Therefore, they were so loyal to their jobs and to their cities that they could settle down very early in life. If they bought a home very early in their career, it didn't bother them because they were not planning to move for the rest of their career. But today, your career prospects depend on how quickly you are able to move between cities, upskill yourself, and also seek new opportunities wherever they arise. Therefore, buying a home too early in your career can act as a big impediment to your economic prospect. In an earlier video, we discussed that in India typically, the EMI for a house is 3 to 4 times the rent that you pay. Now, suppose you buy a home in your 20s, you will be saddled with a very large EMI that ties you to a particular location and you will not be able to move. Therefore, your first investment should never be your house. Instead, invest in SIPs and mutual funds, and once you get to your 40s or 50s, that is when you think of buying a home. If you talk to investors who are today in their 40s or 50s, you will find that their biggest investment is their EPF contribution, the money that they put into their employees' provident fund. Now, the EPF used to be a very convenient way of investing in the previous generation because the employer used to automatically detect the sum every month and put it into that account. EPF also used to declare an interest of 8 to 8.5% that was tax free, and it kept compounding over the years. But today, for young investors, the EPF is not a good way to save for retirement for 3 reasons. First, the returns of 8 or 8.5% are not enough to get you to a retirement goal except with a very large amount of savings. Secondly, interest on EPF has become taxable with effect from 2 years ago. Therefore, if you contribute more than 2.5 lakh a year to EPF, the interest gets taxed. Thirdly, there are many alternative avenues such as equity funds, index funds and NPS and so on, which give you a return of 12 to 13%, which can get you to your retirement goals much easier than the EPF does. It is also not very easy to withdraw money from the EPF without a lot of paperwork. Therefore, instead of maxing out your EPF contribution, it makes sense to keep your investments flexible and invest in other market-linked avenues for your retirement. A third belief in our parents' generation was that government-backed investment products are the best. Now, they used to invest a lot in national savings certificates, PPF, post office monthly income scheme, etc. This is because in the earlier generation, financial markets were not very well regulated. So, almost everybody used to lose money to scamsters who were collecting deposits, stock market schemes, etc. In the last couple of decades, financial regulations in India have improved vastly. Today, RBI and SEBI have a lot of rules about who can accept public money in any form. Therefore, investing in non-government backed schemes has become much easier and safer too. Today, you also have any number of online resources where you can do your research on private sector schemes. Therefore, investing in NCDs, NBFC deposits, stock advisory services, portfolio management services, mutual funds, etc. are all the options available to you from the private sector, and you should make the most use of it. A final belief of the earlier generation was that guaranteed return schemes are better than market-linked schemes. But that was possible in an era where interest rates were high. Did you know that when you invest money in providers of guaranteed returns such as post office, banks, insurers, etc., They in turn take your money and invest in market instruments. In fact, all your money is channeled into government securities, corporate bonds and other such instruments. Today, through online platforms as well as through platforms like RBI Retail Direct, you have direct access to these instruments that these institutions invest in. So, why should I incur an extra cost towards intermediation, and why should you lock in your money for the long term with such institutions? There really is no rationale for that. So, you can safely skip guaranteed return products from such institutions and directly invest in market instruments for a much better return.